Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the Nerdic Pro Podcast. How are we this evening? Welcome to episode of week number 201 of Nerdic Pro Weekly. With me on the line, up on this top shelf thing, whatever you want to call it, is the man himself, Mr. Ian McWilliams. Ian,
oh yeah,
been a while since you were last on the Nerdic Pro. How you doing?
I'm grand. I'm good. I'm keeping well busy enough. Yeah.
Sweet. I think you've muted yourself. Hang on. Yeah, you're muted now. Oh, he's gone. Also, is Richie Stoneham. How are we doing?
How are we doing?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Yeah, sweet.
Here
we are.
Sorry, guys. Headphone failure. Yeah, I'm very good as well. Good to see you as well, Richie. It's been a while since WrestleMania.
It has, yes. As we were saying just before Richie hopped on, the last time you were on was Mania, which obviously was back in April. So, yeah, it's good to have you back on, and good to have you both back on. So, yeah, that is great. So, yeah, before we do get live, I do have a couple of announcements to make. So, I believe it is the 3rd of October. The Nerdic Pro Podcast will be starting up a couple of collaboration podcasts with Hitting The Turnbuckle Podcast. They are a great podcast based on multiple different platforms. And as well, for those of you who haven't seen, current NWA star and former WWE World Tag Team Champion of Mike Mondo will be making his way onto the Nerdic Pro Podcast on Wednesday, November the 5th. 2025, taking place at 4 p.m. UK time and 11 p.m. USA Eastern time. Stay tuned for that. And
I've seen the pictures. Yeah. He's looking really beefed up now since those
Spirit
Squad days.
Jacked as anything.
Like if he was in WWE, he'd look like someone who'd fail a wellness policy.
He would do, to be fair. Like he's in a lot better shape now than what he was from when he was wrestling in WWE back in 2006. You know what I mean? And, yeah, so, which is why I think he's, back, like in the NWA. And, because, like, again, you want a few people there. Like, you are jacked, you are ripped. And, yeah, so yeah. Anyway, so main focus for today is speaking a bit about current day WWE and the recent reported departure of Andrade El Idolo. What one should we start off with? Should we start predicting or should we start with Andrade?
I don't mind. If you want to get Andrade out of the way before we do prediction, we can do.
Yeah, may as well do that. So
you know what these predictions can be like. I mean, like we you and I have discussed a match longer than the whole pay-per-view before. So yeah, like Ian said, it might be worth getting the Andrade part out first.
All right, so bloody thing. Right, so as per a Bleacher Report, what should we go with? Bleacher Report, Inside the Ropes, as that's where it originally come from. Inside the Ropes. So, breaking. Inside the Ropes, main news headline. Andrade gone from WWE only 1 year after return. Andrade El Idolo has left WWE as per the latest development. Former United States champion Andrade El Idolo is gone from WWE. The star returned to the company on January 27, 2024, and has since had a lackluster return on the main roster. Before this, he spent a few years with AEW, after being released from World Wrestling Entertainment in 2021. Andrade first joined the company in 2015, breaking out and making a name for himself in 2017 as part of NXT. He's a former NXT champion, Speed champion, and United States champion. The Star has been absent from WWE since Night 2 of SummerSlam this year. He was in the six-pack tag team TLC match where he teamed up with Rey Fenix on the Wyatt 6 MCMG, so Motor City Machine Guns, DIY, Street Profits, and Fraxium in what was the highlight of the second night. His whereabouts were a subject of speculation, but hardly anyone had expected him to leave the promotion. And he has now been added on to the alumni section on the WWE website. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select also confirmed the news as he stated that the Star was indeed gone from the company. It comes with nothing but a surprise, as he said. He had only returned in January last year. The Star was touted for big things and was potentially hailed by many to be playing a huge role now that the company has acquired Mexican promotion AAA. It remains to be seen what the future holds for him. So, yeah, he has gone from WWE and has seemingly fallen off the face of the earth, as it seems. Any thoughts on this?
It was good to see him back when he came back at the Royal Rumble, but the problem was though, because they invested that this would be just as big as a return because they had gotten Cody and Punk back. But when he had gotten back, and any time he wrestled, there were nothing but cricket sounds when he'd just come out.
It was. I remember watching it live, and because to begin with, they didn't originally show his name on the trot, and then when he come out, as you said, he was just dead as anything. He just got back from a 2-week sprained ankle sort of thing, and Richie.
Oh God, what's going on?
What you done? Oh God.
Well, didn't he actually debut in 2016 on NXT?
I believe so.
I remember he debuted in 2016. I think his first opponent was No Way Jose, and he was also the debuting opponent for Bobby Roode at the time.
Yeah, I remember actually being at his main roster debut because he debuted on the main roster on SmackDown at the O2 in London. Here he is. He's back.
He's a great worker. I do agree that he was a great worker. I enjoyed a lot of his matches on NXT, especially the stuff with Johnny Gargano or Aleister Black. His only problem that kept him back from going far was that he wasn't the greatest talker, because one thing about WWE, the thing that gets people most over, and it goes back to every era, whoever's in charge, is they want someone to connect with the fans and speak English. That's why you don't see a lot of Mexican talent, apart from Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero, going far. Dominic is probably the next one to go that far as well, and maybe Penta. But the main thing about WWE is you've got to learn English.
I mean, me personally, I think that his NXT run was a lot better than both his main roster runs. So when he first debuted on the main roster and this comeback over the past year and a half. And Richie has vanished again.
I think one highlight of his main roster run was that he was booked on Raw. He was moved to Raw in 2019, and at the time, Paul Heyman was in charge of creative, and he was one of Heyman's pet projects to be a top star, along with guys like Drew McIntyre and Aleister Black. They gave him a United States title run as well, defeating Rey Mysterio in Madison Square Garden on St. Stephen's Day, and he held on for about 5 months, but he was only able to hold on to it because he broke a wellness violation back then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, his US title run is very much a forgotten title reign as well. Do you know what I mean?
Remember who beat him for it?
I remember it was when in and around COVID when he ended up losing it.
Yeah, but do you remember who beat him for it?
Oh, who was it? Was it? It wasn't Bobby Roode, was it?
It was Apollo Crews.
That was it, yes, because that was when they changed the design, wasn't it?
No, I don't think so. But no, like, because Heyman at the time was high on Apollo Crews, so he wanted to get...
Yeah, because wasn't that when he started doing the whole... Crews, wasn't that when he started doing the whole Nigerian gimmick?
No, that was 2021. Like, he was on Raw. He was on Raw, and then he was the United States champion in 2020. He beat Andrade, but then lost it to Bobby Lashley. He was moved to SmackDown. Then he started the Nigerian accent that got him the Intercontinental title.
Yes,
and then basically after the US title run, like Andrade just faded out until he was released.
Yeah, and then he went on to AEW, which I think when he come in to AEW, it was a bit stale, in my opinion. Obviously, he came in with Vicky Guerrero.
Right, yeah, he had that feud with Cody.
He did, yes, yeah, and
then he was part of factions with Roosh and Dralistico. Like they were even in a tag team at the time with Dragon Lee before he came to WWE.
Yeah, he was, yeah, and then he was obviously between leaving WWE and going back there.
Yeah. He was a bit of a problem as well backstage, because if you remember, sorry if I keep interrupting there, because like if you remember during his time in AEW, like he had that backstage altercation with Sammy Guevara.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah. And obviously that would have stirred up. I mean, that would have stirred up shit. But then again, he doesn't have backstage altercations at AEW. You know what I mean?
But he was very difficult backstage as well on his return. For what everyone's saying, he was getting frustrated with Crave. Like when he came back, like a few points, like one highlight of his comeback was the best of 7 matches with Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah.
They were good.
Those are actually pretty good, in all fairness.
Yeah, like they got a reaction. Like he'd come out, he'd be dead to the world. Like, but then when he's in the ring with Mello or someone else, like even with the stuff with the tag team Ray Phoenix, he would get a fan reaction.
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
And they were supposed to actually take the belts off the Wyatts in Paris, but then he disappeared after frustration. And then there was another report come that he had another wellness violation on his record.
Yeah, it's all a bit. Yeah. So.
Richie's okay.
Sorry?
Hope Richie's okay.
Let me have a look. Oh, hang on. He's put something in the group chat.
Sounds like we're being dragged backwards to.
Yeah.
But so now the question is, though, what's next for him? What's next for Andrade?
Yeah, exactly. Does he go back to WWE or?
No, he can't go back to. No,
he's.
I think he's had his chance with WWE. It's not going to work. He's not able to communicate well in his English, and he seems to be a problem backstage. He seems to be. He can't. There's no point in him going back to AEW. I think he's gonna. If he goes back to AEW, he'll be lost in the shuffle. He'll also be lost in the shuffle. So he could go to New Japan, or there is talk that he may come back to CMLL because I think he's in like a little Twitter war with MJF.
Yes, I was watching a podcast earlier. About it, and like they did say about MJF and CMLL, because obviously Triple A's now out the equation, because obviously that's now owned by WWE.
They're going to move to AAA. They're going to move to AAA.
Yeah, which that would make sense, as like he has done a fair old bit for AAA. I mean, but obviously now WWE has since acquired AAA, like he now can't. Obviously, I think TNA is also out of the equation. With their partnership with WWE.
If he can't make it in WWE or AEW, he's not going to make it in any American company. Yeah,
exactly. So his only shot now, were like as you said, CMLL or in New Japan. and those would literally be his only two major companies that he'd have half a shot at. And
sorry, no, you could here. I'm going to mute the mic because I keep interrupting you when I have some.
No, you're right. But yeah, but then again, if he were to go to CMLL and or New Japan, what would there be like there for him? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think with New Japan, they kind of need a resurgence of stars because nearly all their top stars have gone to either WWE or AEW. So they need a resurgence there. If he goes to CMML, because that's where he got the most success after NXT, before NXT, then he can thrive again. Here's another point, actually. Do you think things went downhill for him after the divorce from Charlotte?
Now that I think of it, yeah. I do think that sort of did have a knock-on effect for things. Because obviously, anything that happens in your personal life is gonna affect affect your professional life, isn't it?
Yeah,
do you know
especially
what I mean?
If you're married to one of the top stars in WWE.
Exactly. And as well, working in the same company as well, and what have you, would have had a bit of a strain on the pair of them. And
especially when they're both on SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I do think that would have been, a factor on it. I mean, I obviously, apart from them being divorced, I hadn't heard of any altercations between them. Not saying there wouldn't have been, not saying that there would have been, but there probably, would have been the odd sort of glare if they're not speaking to each other. All right, fair enough. There probably would have been the odd sort of death stare, thrown between the pair of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If he hadn't been fired, where do you think he'd be now? So with WWE, because there was talk of him and Phoenix being moved to Raw to team with Penta to take on New Day and Grayson Waller to form a little Mexican faction, and we probably would have seen them align against something like the Judgment Day. Do you think
that would have been good?
Would he have been made mid-card, or do you think an all faction with Penta and Ray would have helped him a bit, or do you think it wouldn't have made a difference if he can't communicate?
I mean, when it comes to Ray Phoenix, the only sort of logical person to have him team with is Penta.
Yeah, it's always
obviously with the history as the Lucha Bros.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe a sort of thing in the LWO, maybe doing a few bits and pieces with them, or like you said, maybe having a three-way faction with obviously Andrade, the Lucha Bros against Judgment Day. I think that would have been good and had some sort of story between them. But yeah, I mean, going up to that match at SummerSlam this year for the tag titles, I was a bit about him teaming up with Ray Phoenix, because as I've said, I've always known Ray Phoenix when he's a tag wrestler to be with Penta, and it's a bit sort of awkward seeing it with someone else.
Well, he has worked with different people, but no, his best work will always be with Penta.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Andrade, has never really been that sort of tag wrestler. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, so but yeah, where do you think you'll end up?
I would say, I think he'll go. I think he will appear. He will appear at the next CML show to take on MJF. I think it's looking like. I think it is looking like that he's going to CML. I don't think he'll be back. I don't as far as AEW goes. If he can appear at the Forbidden Door show as a CMML talent and not sign on to be a wrestler there.
Yeah, that would be all right. Yeah, come to think of it. But yeah, we shall see. But yeah, so let's get on a bit to WrestlePalooza. So I just need to get the card up. So yeah, Ian, WrestlePalooza, just a bit of a thought on that. Overall, how do you think it's?
I think it will turn out. I think it could. I think it will be a good show. Like, we're promised a few surprises from Triple H. He did mention that today. Like, there's a good build to some of the matches, particularly the Punk AJ Seth Becky match. The Cena and Brock match will be definitely has a good bit of build. Although we don't have an explanation of why Brock's attacking Cena, because Cena can't appear on Raw and SmackDown now because he's made his last appearances there. The Cody Drew match, like, that will be good as well, but I just wish there'd been a bit more build. But unfortunately, Cody was caught up filming Street Fighter, because there was a lot of stuff you could have used for a Cody and Drew feud, like their past as a tag team, or the two of them being fired from WWE and going on very long quests to get back there, and eventually beating the top guys at WrestleMania to hold the title. So there's a lot you can use there.
Yeah. I mean, with Cody and Drew, I think they're, like I said, conquest to get back to WWE. I mean, like, it's been referenced before. Drew's last match on the Indies before actually returning or / debuting for NXT was actually against Cody, showing Coventry, right, here in England for a WCPW Pro Wrestling World Cup show. So they've got that to toy with. Cody's venture around the world, becoming Global Force Next Gen champion, becoming What Culture Internet champion, becoming Ring of Honor World champion, becoming the 3-time AEW TNT champion.
And one being one of the big heads on it.
Yes, yeah. Becoming a leader of the Bullet Club as well. Whereas obviously Drew, went on to, TNA World Champ, won the ICW World title again a couple of times, become What Culture World Champion, and done various different things there, and had Drew's last ever match before returning to WWE against Cody in Coventry. So you've got all that. So like they've met multiple times before, and
their last match 1-on-1 was a match on Raw during Cody's build towards WrestleMania 40. Drew actually beat him during that build.
He did, yes, yeah. I think this match between Drew and Cody, like, I think that alongside John and Brock, I'm really looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to
like, they should be decent matches, like you'd have thought. And
looking forward to AJ Lee's match as well.
Yeah, that'll be the first match that she's had in over a decade now.
They're main eventing. They're definitely main eventing.
So as per how Wikipedia have it outlined, we have got John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. How are we seeing things erupt in that?
I think it's going to be Cena, because this is going to be a one and done match. Like, because Cena's next appearance after this is Crown Jewel, and then that's it over in Perth. So this has to go to Cena. Now, everyone's saying Brock has just gotten back. He shouldn't really take a loss. Some people think that Brock should actually smash Cena. But look, and this is actually going to be a test, because this is the first time ever someone else that isn't Vince McMahon has told Brock he has to take a loss on his return. Because when Brock came back in 2012, his first match was against Cena and he lost. And this is now Triple H telling Brock he has to take a loss. But Brock, if you just add an extra 0 to Brock's paycheck, he will take it well.
Yeah,
and then he'll get a win at a later stage.
Plus, as well, like you've got to think with this, like, he's not got Paul Heyman at his back this time round, is he?
No.
Do you know what I mean? He's finally going into a major feud, shall we say, without his legendary mouthpiece, because obviously Heyman's with the Visionary, and
he doesn't, like, he's talking now anyway. Like, if you saw the segment on SmackDown with R-Truth last week, he can talk.
Yeah, he
has been talking. Anyway. He has been talking.
Yeah,
he has been talking.
Yeah, he can. But obviously, especially with me, seeing Brock actually return to WWE back in 2012, I'd always known for him to be spoken for. Do you know what I mean? Obviously by Paul, but I think obviously because he spent so long out of WWE, because of reasons that shall not be touched upon.
We're not going to go down that little path that he was.
Yeah,
he was in last year.
Yeah, like he had at SummerSlam when he returned, I'm in a million different wrestling fan pages on Facebook, right? And the amount of backlash that Brock was getting through, actually coming back and what have you.
Yeah, but he was only named at the time. Like there'd been no evidence that he was involved in anything.
Yeah, exactly.
He's only named if you're not. So it's a case of innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly. Which obviously that's the sort of world that we live in. Innocent until proven guilty. And yeah, because John Laurinaitis, he was even named throughout all this.
Yes, I remember that. Even he tried to save his own skin by saying he'd name Vince.
Yeah.
He was
exactly.
He was trying to save his own hole.
Yeah, and now Laurinaitis is now no longer involved, like that I know of. And but who do you reckon then? Cena or Brock? I'm
thinking Cena. Like Brock could take this loss then, and then he'll get a win on somewhere else at a later stage. Because I think like Brock is probably do you think Brock is very picky of who he puts over? Like, because we've seen him not put over guys, whether it's Dean Ambrose, Bobby Lashley, Bray Wyatt, to putting over guys, whether it's Cena, Goldberg, Rollins, McIntyre, Reigns. Do you think he's very picky when it comes to putting people over?
I think Brock is because he was obviously so loved by Vince, and because Vince was so in love with him. I think with Brock, it was the case of he gets what he wants. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And because obviously he's always been like it, where he'd only wrestle like a handful of matches a year, a majority of which are pay-per-view matches. So obviously he's got to be picky with who it is he wrestles and who it is like he puts over. But I'd imagine with this, like they've got the history together, they've worked together multiple times before when. Before Brock left WWE to begin with in the mid to late 2000s, coming back to WWE, that was his first feud back in 2012, and obviously now it's his first feud back again. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Cena does end up going over. Do you know what I mean? And it would be nice. Do you know what I mean?
But if he doesn't go over, what's next for the two of them? I mean, you can't put Brock back in another title match with Cody because that program's already been done.
It has, yeah.
You can't put Cena back with Cody. So there is a bit of a talk now that Gunter is on the clear now, and one of the matches that they always talked about was Brock versus Gunter, and we thought it would happen at WrestleMania 40, but things changed when Brock was named.
Honestly, I think Brock and Gunther would be incredible. I really do. But obviously, we've got to wait and see what happens with Cena and Brock. I mean, is this going to be the only match they end up having between them?
I think it is because we're coming close to the end of Cena's retirement tour. I think this is just going to be a one and done.
That's a point actually. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't mind seeing like a high octane build up match between Brock and Gunther, as I do think that that'll put bums in seats. And I think
if you're going to have that, you have to have it at Mania.
Yes, you do. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, with this, I'm personally saying Cena. But then again, what's next for Cena after this?
That is a good question. Like, because he's only got a few select dates left until December 13th. Or else, I think if you've got to give him something, you've got to give him something like, because he's been able to select the people he can work with, like from Randy or through Cody, Punk, and Brock. But like, give him a bit more present stars. Like one person, like he should work with Gunter.
Yeah.
Friday night's main event, does Gunter retire Cena?
See, I originally thought that they were going to play it out. So he was going to keep a hold of the undisputed title and until December the whatever. And then he'd keep it until his last scheduled date in WWE.
Yeah.
And then he would agree that whoever ends up beating him for the title, that every match he would have from now on would always all be for the undisputed title. And whoever ends up beating him for the undisputed title will end up dethroning Cena and retiring Cena.
Yeah.
So like that's how I thought that they were going to play that out.
I think a lot of people did. I think it did, because the heel turn didn't work.
No, it didn't.
The heel turn didn't work. He was too loved. Yeah,
exactly. This is where I was a bit. I've been a bit confused since they turned him heel, the Chamber. Why has The Rock not been involved in any of this?
Simply because The Rock went off to promote a lot of Smashing Machine and build it up, because it looks set now to win him an Oscar, because it's gotten a great write-up and it looks set that he could win or be nominated for an Oscar next year.
Yeah.
He was too focused on his Hollywood project. Like, I was listening to a couple of podcasts. I was trying to ask the question, like, because the great response from The Rock saw that the Smash Machines get a great response, so he was stepping out of wrestling then because of that. He may be coming back when they do Mania at the Saudi show, but since the Smash Machine is getting him that success, should he step down from the TKO board?
Yeah, he had. Yeah.
He can't commit to that then if he's getting all this Hollywood success and if he's lured into award season next year.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you know, that's like Hollywood, you know, it's obviously what's bringing him in it, is what's bringing him his money in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It looks like the Smash Machine will bring him more money when it's officially released around the world. I want to see it myself. It does look like a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I'd certainly go watch it. Do you know
but
what I mean?
But that's what really kept him out, and that was really what was most of the downfall of the failed Cena heel turn was the no-show of The Rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Travis Scott, but let's really never mention him again.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah, so here are the next match I've got is the Usos, obviously Jimmy and Jay. First time they've teamed up for God knows how long now against the division of Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Where are we going with that?
I'm going to say division. I think you need to keep division's momentum going. I mean, you have the Usos back, and there was this plan to put them back together after the failed Jey Uso title run. And now they're back because Roman is gone. Division took out Roman at Clash at Paris. And we figured the Usos were just going to come back and they're going to take out division now until, say, Roman comes back and wants revenge on Braun, which is more likely going to lead to a match of Crown Jewel. But now the change has come now with Jey. They seem to be building for a Jey heel turn because we've seen the spears he's been given to LA Knight. We've seen the way he's acting around Jimmy, telling Jimmy not to trust anyone. Like, we're seeing an edge to him now. And I think that is actually a good thing because they put a lot of hope he would be the top face for Raw as a champion, and he couldn't hang with it then. So I think he does kind of need that heel turn and that edge to kind of give him a change, or he's just going to be stuck in the mid-card and tag division as just someone who's just nothing but a catchphrase.
Yeah. I mean, I said this going up to Mania when he was going to have that match with Gunther for the world title. You know, he was already over with, you know, Yeet and what have you back then. Right, and it's like, does he really need a championship to elevate the hype? Do you know what I mean? You know, like you don't in wrestling, you don't always necessarily need a championship to be able to help you with like build up your character. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, you know, he, with all due respect, flopped. I think with the title.
Unfortunately, I'd have to agree with you. No, he was a disappointing reign. I remember I watched the whole thing. It was disappointing.
Yeah, exactly. And
you say a bigger flop than say Kofi's?
I mean, I think Kofi was, the wrong time. I really do. I think if they wanted, see, because then he was, because when Kofi won it, he was still too in line with the New Day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know, he was always, you know, like he's always been a big tag team wrestler. You know, he's won no end of tag team titles with no end of different tag team partners over his course in WWE over the years. You know, just a few people. I think he won it with Truth, Evan Bourne, obviously the New Day. You know, multiple reigns of. You know, and yeah, you know, it's like with obviously, like he had a fairly successful singles career. You know, he's a multiple-time US champion, multiple-time Intercontinental champion. You know, but I think since 2014, when they actually started up the New Day, you know, he's always like it was always Big E, Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, always those three. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you know, like you'd very rarely see them in singles matches. Yeah. And out the three of them, it would 9 times out of 10 be Xavier Woods in singles action rather than Big E and Kofi. Do you know what I mean? It would only really be if either Kofi or Big E were injured. Then obviously Xavier would then step in to then be like an attack. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we've got someone coming in. Hello, so Tommy, you know Tommy Labbit in the group.
I know Tommy. Hey, Tommy. Couple of plums,
couple of plums, eh? Bastard.
Yeah. But you need to. But at the moment, you need to keep the Visions as Bronson, the two Bronze momentum going as a tag team, like because they've won some, they've lost some, so they need that big win back on a show because they lost the last big tag match they were at, and they need that big win back. And you need to keep what's going on with Jay going because he looks set to be breaking out on his own and turning heel. Yeah,
I mean, I would like to see heel Jey Uso. Obviously, and go into that thing with LA Knight because I think that's where they're building it to go up with.
Like, do you care about that? Do you care about that feud? Like, some are thinking LA Knight was turning heel in LA Knight Jay feud.
I don't know. You know, I think because Jay's got that history in WWE being a heel. For a couple of years.
You want him that edge back. You want right-hand man Jey Uso back.
Yeah.
And it might help. It might give him a revival. It would give him a revival.
It would, yeah. But the thing is if he turns heel, what happens with Jimmy? Does he side with Jay or does he side with LA Knight? Because let's face it, like if Jay were to turn heel, it would either be him turning heel on Jimmy or it would be him turning heel on LA Knight. And I think I think how they're playing it out, I think chances are it probably would be him officially turning heel against LA Knight.
I think he may side with LA Knight because we've seen the roles we saw Jimmy as the heel and Jay as the face, and Jimmy just didn't do well as a heel or like he's not doing great as a face either. Like he's probably the weakest of the Bloodline members that's not gone far since the Bloodline story's finished. But I think he'll stay face on this, or especially when Roman comes back.
Yeah, well, yeah. Like I do think that as and when Roman comes back, like as you pointed out earlier, fingers crossed on the build up to Crown Jewel in Saudi.
No, it's not Saudi. It's in Perth.
Is it? It's
in Perth in Australia.
Oh, okay. I'd have thought it'd have been in bloody Saudi again. No, that was fair enough. Yeah, so in Crown Jewel in Perth, fair enough. No, it's Mania that's in Saudi now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Mania in Saudi, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, so as and when Roman comes back for what we'd expect to be the build-up for Crown Jewel.
For Crown Jewel and possibly War Games.
Yeah. He obviously he's got to get back involved with the Vision. Yeah. And probably tie himself in with whatever Jay then decides to do. Do you know what I mean? So, because obviously it was division that put him out of action, and you've got Jay and Jimmy who were still referencing, like the tribal chief, and what have you, and still referencing the, like their cousins, blah blah blah, and yeah, so. I think you can tell that, they will be sticking up for Roman and what have you. So, yeah, he will be getting involved with this as and when he comes back, I do believe.
Yeah.
And
More likely target Braun Breaker.
Yes, he will. Yeah. So, yeah. Who have we got for this then?
I'm saying Division. Has to be Division. I've been going with Division.
To be fair, I'm going to say the same because part of me does think that LA Knight will end up having some form of involvement in this.
Yeah, I think he will play a part to accidentally cost. He will cost them a match. Them a match.
Yeah. So the next one I've got down is the mixed gender tag match. So CM Punk and the returning.
I thought that'd be the main event. But no, go on. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so I've got CM Punk and AJ Lee returning after over a decade versus the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and the Women's Intercontinental Champion of Becky Lynch. What are we saying with this?
I'm saying, look, you have to call a spade. It has to be Punk and AJ. Like, this is AJ's first match in 10 years. You have to let her have this one. And then you can build towards what's going on in Perth. You can have Becky and AJ for the Intercontinental title. And then you can do Punk and Rollins at Perth as well. And then you could do something for War Games as well. You could have Punk on one team and AJ leading the women's team.
Or have a big mixed gender tag War Games match. Like that.
I don't know if that would. I don't know if that would work. I think it'd be too messy. I mean, a mixed tag's one thing, but I think if they mix men and women in a War Games match together, it will be too messy.
Yeah.
And it just it won't work if the girls have to. If there's one girl and one guy in the ring, it just won't do. If you have someone like say CM Punk in the ring and you have someone like Becky Lynch, then no, it's not going to really. It won't work like that. It'll be too messy. It will go down badly.
Yeah, that does make sense actually.
Like I expect, we could see some stuff in the mixed tag where the men have done stuff to the women. Like if you remember 2019 when Seth and Becky teamed up against Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans, and Corbin hit the end of days on Becky Lynch.
Yes, yeah.
Now that had to come with it just to get heat on Baron Corbin, but it won't work on this. Like, could we see a GTS to Becky Lynch? Could we see could Seth Rollins try and attempt a curb stomp to AJ Lee?
Yeah, that could work. Yeah, but yeah, where do you think we're going to head with this then?
I think we're going Punk and AJ on this, and then we move into Perth and we have Becky and AJ for the Intercontinental title, and we do another Punk and Rollins. And then we move it into War Games, maybe with Punk teaming up with possibly Roman, Jimmy, and LA Knight against all three members of the Division and Jay. And then, you could throw someone in from SmackDown, like, say, Sami Zayn, and then whoever Sami's feuding with on SmackDown. Because you can build more momentum to him because it's more likely he's winning the Rumble in 2026 in Saudi and winning the world title at WrestleMania. Yeah.
That all sounds fairly good. I mean, well, like as you said, got to call a spade with this, haven't you? AJ's first match in over a decade. But then again, how badly do you think she's going to be with the good old fashioned case of ring rust?
That is the big issue there. Does she get ring rust? It's very hard. It's very hard to say.
I'd imagine they'd have been building on this for a while for her to come back. So I'd imagine she's been training. They
could have probably planned this years in advance since the beginning of the Raw Netflix.
Yeah. So she'd have had to have been training for a while to get herself back up to par, so to speak, to be able to, have this match after so many years. Do you know what I mean? I mean, she can't just come back for the one match, like as you were saying.
She signed she has a new deal with WWE, so I think she has more than other matches in her. Like, I do want to see AJ versus somebody like a Becky, a Charlotte, a Bayley, a Rhea, an Io, a Vakir, a Roxanne. Like, the list is endless. Like, there's so much opportunity out there for her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you look at it, when AJ Lee was then leaving, Becky, like the likes of Becky, Charlotte, etc.
Bayley.
Yeah, Bayley, etc. They were all then coming in.
It changed everything because AJ had left. Paige was still there, but at the time, though, the division was still under Nikki Bella.
It was, yeah.
I'm glad it's on the start anyway. I'm very glad it's on the start. No, that match with Becky was ass hat.
Yeah, it was. I mean, like I remember seeing obviously the match at Clash at Paris. There was a big bloody botch, and I think that
she did.
That
dive she did. I broke me shit laughing at her.
Yeah, and it's like me and Tommy here were doing the live reactions to it because it was on a decent time for us, and like I even commented on it being like, what the fuck was that meant to be?
And then there was that whole thing with the table. She was making it look like she was bouncing her head off, and Becky was just banging her hands on the table to make it look like she was banging her head off it.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh my god, and but I mean, like, like as you said, thank God, like she's not on this, but could this be the case with AJ Lee? Because obviously,
I hope not. I really hope not. I'd be very disappointed if it was. I'd hope, I fear she'll have a little bit, but I think there may be still magic from it. Like we've seen when some people have not gone in action for a while and they still got, like a prime example, 2011, The Rock made his first match back at Survivor Series. He still had it, and his first one-on-one match back in 2012. Then we had CM Punk after a few years. He still had some magic.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's
a couple of years ago.
Daniel Bryan 2018.
Yes. Yeah.
Edge 2020.
Yes. Yeah. Again, prime example there, and yet he's still going. He's still kicking. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah. I mean, we've got to see the singles match between AJ and Becky.
Yeah, we have. I think we will get that. I think we'll get that at Perth.
Yeah,
we'll get that at Perth, and then we'll probably have Team AJ versus Team Becky at War Games.
That'll be good, actually. Yeah. Yeah. So we both saying Punk and AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. So the next match I've got on here is the undisputed WWE Championship match between the defending champion Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. What are we saying with this match?
Cody. It has to be Cody. Look, he's been gone filming off playing Guile in Street Fighter. He won the title back in August. He got the win over Cena. It's his first defense. It's Cody.
I mean, yeah, it'll be daft to put the title anywhere near Drew at this stage, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I do like Drew. He will have a run yet. It's just not his time yet. Unless we're if I saw Triple H is planning a lot of surprises for WrestlePalooza. So unless Cody and Drew are main eventing, then Drew's winning the title there. But if they're not main eventing, Cody's winning. But because there's a match, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Cody, the headache that he had to go through from first coming back to WWE in 2022, literally getting injured pretty much straight away, and spending God knows how long out, winning 2 Rumbles on the trot, actually finishing the story, having a year-long run with the title, eventually losing it to Cena, playing a big integral part in Cena's retirement tour, and eventually winning the title back. I think I think it's too early in this run to have Cody lose it, not just to Drew, but I think to a majority of that Raw roster. Do you know what I mean?
He won't be going. He's on the SmackDown brand though, so he'll only be going up against SmackDown talent. So, but the thing is though, with SmackDown, like there is not a big divide of top talent to challenge it, top heel. So, if you want a new heel, you'll have to turn Randy Orton heel to have that Cody Randy feud. I think Randy is the guy to beat him.
Yeah, I think that would be. Yeah,
I think it has to be Randy, or at least the club would have to be Randy.
Yeah, like yeah, I can't deny that. So yeah, so we both saying Cody.
Yeah, definitely saying Cody or Guile.
Yeah. So,
do you think he tries to do a few Street Fighter moves?
Could you imagine?
Doing a Guile flash kick.
That would be good. You know, well, in the film, do you reckon he can dish out a few crossroads moves?
Possibly, yeah. That would actually be.
Just think, Hogan's done it before in films, giving people like God rest his soul, giving people leg drops and what have you, and yeah. So. But yeah, so the last match I've got on here is Io Sky versus Stephanie Varker for the vacant Women's World Championship. Where are we going with this?
I think it's Stephanie Varker's time.
Do you think?
I think it is, because when she has come into the main roster, there is an aura about her. There's just a good presence. And just when the music kicks in, you know there's a top star there.
I mean, she's got she's not been in WWE that long, has she?
She's been nearly a year, because she was on NXT, and then she rose up very quick on NXT, winning both the NXT Women's North American and the women's title.
Yeah, and obviously with her being like the main roster, you know, she's not been there, you know, that long. And I think she is proving herself to be championship material, you know, as she was beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, she's I believe a former New Japan Strong women's champion.
Yes, that's right. And who did she lose that belt to?
Monet, wasn't it?
Yes, it was at Forbidden Door 24, which would lead her to go to WWE.
Yeah. Like Mercedes Monet still has the
Yeah, she does.
Yeah,
she has so many belts. It's hard to list them all.
Yeah, along with, you know, the 40 other different titles, and yeah, you know, so yeah, because obviously Priorities refused to take anything off her. So yeah,
I think it's Stephanie Varker's time now. She was originally supposed to have the shot at Clash of Paris against Naomi, but then Naomi got pregnant. But I didn't think she was going to beat Naomi, because Naomi was so on fire when she won the title, and she was just. I would have actually given Naomi. I would have actually let Naomi beat her.
I mean, since Naomi's been healed, you know, like I've got behind her so bloody much, you know, throughout her heel feud with Jade Cargill. You know, I thought that was great. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, and yeah, you know, and I'd have liked to have seen Steph and Naomi, you know, face 1-on-1. As I think that would have been a big money drawing match for WWE.
It would, but you'd have to have Naomi. You'd have had to have Naomi win.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm not doubting Io Sky whatsoever, because I think that she's fantastic.
Probably one of the best in-ring workers in there.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, obviously, given the size difference, I think that between Naomi and Steph, I think probably working with Io a bit more would, you know, help in like the size comparison like between them. And I don't know why I keep on coughing, but
you all right?
Yeah. So yeah, saying Steph.
Yeah, I'm saying Steph, but I'm also expecting utter chaos. Because we're seeing at the moment what's going on with Io Sky and Rhea and the Kabuki Warriors. We're leading to an Asuka heel turn.
I mean, what I had what I'd said quite recently is, could we potentially see Io team up with Rhea? And then
Rio.
Yeah, Io. Yeah.
No, Rio. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky.
Team up?
No, Rio.
Io Sky.
No, if they're teaming up, they're called Rio.
You're a fucking genius, you are.
Oh, I heard it. I heard it. So I heard it on a different podcast. I won't say. I heard it on that. I heard it on there. I heard it on them. It's what I'm following at the moment. I can't put me. I'll get back to you. I can't put me. I'm following on YouTube at the moment. They're very good at it. They said Rio. If we're getting Rio.
Fair enough. I thought you were referencing that mate of ours.
No, this was a bit one. But no, I think we could see I think there is going to be a bit of chaos in this match. We're getting, because we've got Rhea, we've got the Kabuki Warriors with a possible Asuka heel turn. And then, like, if we're going into Perth, we can have Vakir and Rhea, and then you could do Io versus Asuka at Perth.
Yeah. I mean, like, you've got to have Rhea on the show. I mean, with it being in Perth, in Australia, obviously with Rhea being an Aussie,
could you have her actually beat Stephanie Vakir then, and only on her first defense? She wins it.
Well, Rhea has been, wanting that title back for a long time now, isn't she?
And I know, like, she is one of the staples of that division today.
She is. And I think that, it will be big things in Perth for her to go over for the title, obviously in Perth. Given the fact that now she's been on that conquest, shall we say, to get the women's world title back. Do you know what I mean?
I just wouldn't have her beat. If she's facing Stephanie in Crown Jewel, I just don't think it could have it happen yet. Just let Stephanie get more beat.
Yeah. Because that would pretty much be Stephanie Barker's first defense, wouldn't it? Really?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it'd have to be. Yeah.
So yeah.
There's another theory though. Does Io turn heel and rejoin the Kabuki Warriors and just make a faction that isn't called Damage Control?
Yeah, she could do.
But then you're stuck in, because then you're going straight to Perth. You're doing Rhea and Io, and Rhea hasn't beaten Io, and then you give Rhea her moment.
Yeah.
So I think the way you do it now is like, I'm going with Stephanie still, but if we're going into a Asuka Io feud, I think you have to have Rhea and Io team up in Perth to take on the Kabuki Warriors. If they're going to turn Kairi heel as well.
I don't even bloody think about Kairi, honestly.
Because all the focus has been on Io and Asuka and Rhea.
I said this on a podcast recently. I genuinely do think it will probably be Io, Rhea. Probably they will probably cost Io this match. What I think is going to happen, right? So Kabuki Warriors, so Kairi and Asuka will cost Io this match for the women's world title. And then we see Stephanie Barker win the women's world title. But there will be a helping hand from Rhea Ripley on Io Sky's half. And then we end up seeing at some point a unification to see Rhea, right? Like as you said, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and enter into a tag feud with Kabuki Warriors. And yeah, but then again, like it is tough. Do you want Rhea in a title picture, or do you not want her in a title?
I think I do the tag match at Perth, because we've only if Stephanie wins, it's her first defense. You've got to give her something she can work with.
Yeah,
give her something to work at, maybe a Roxanne Perez or or Roxanne
I think
Perez.
Roxanne Perez would be a good shout.
Good first opponent, yeah. Be a good first opponent.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah.
But here's actually, no, you first.
Yeah. Just sort of trying to think, I'm just trying to think like what would be better for Rhea Ripley's benefit, either. But then again, like you've also got to think for Stephanie Marquez's benefit as well,
because she's been off Raw for a few weeks because of the Naomi situation, and when she was off Raw, she was learning how to speak English.
Yeah.
And then there was a report coming in that her dad is actually going to be at the pay-per-view as well.
Yeah.
And she made that. Yeah. So you have to give her this. I think she's definitely ready for this.
Yeah. So you saying Stephanie Marquez?
Yeah. But there's also one thing.
But
there's one thing now to it. Will we get Booker T commentating on it?
Oh dear. I would like to see it, obviously given past experiences. Probably.
Yeah. Well, we know that Pat McAfee and Wade Barrett are coming back for this anyways. And we've seen what Pat McAfee says. We've seen what Wade Barrett says when it comes to the Devil's Kiss. But no, it needs to be Booker T. It has to be Booker T.
Yeah. It'll be good to see him back because I've always liked Booker T on commentary. Do you know what I mean? I always have done. Do you know
he's an odd one. He's definitely an odd one. But ever since he's gone to NXT and he's been with Stephanie Fakir, and ever since the Devil's Kiss has been in there, he's really shown signs of early Jerry Lawler.
Yes.
Early Jerry Lawler. Ever since it comes to I think, and then there was something else he did as well with Blake Monroe.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're actually supposed to get one more match at this. They were supposed to add a triple threat to it. It was supposed to be Tiffany, Nia, and Jay for SmackDown Women's title, and not SmackDown though, WWE Women's title. But now Tiff is injured.
I mean, are they gonna?
No, they're moving the match to September 26th.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that'll be alright then, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And then whether or not you get I kind of want Raw now at the moment. Raw has the better women's division. SmackDown is just stuck in the same thing with just Tiffany and Nia.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's been going on since January. It's been going on since January.
Yeah. Well, obviously, they've been feuding against each other, but obviously they were. But
it's been done and done. So we've seen them fight on SmackDown. We've seen them have a last woman standing match.
Yeah.
I think it's been done. You kind of need Tiffany to have some new opponents because all she's got at the moment to work with is Nia and Jade.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. But the thing is, who else on that SmackDown women's roster is, apart from Naomi,
Naomi was Raw. She got moved to Raw after the World Title. She was moved to Raw.
Oh shit! Yeah.
She was moved to Raw when she won the women's World Title.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. But who else on that SmackDown roster is,
There's Chelsea Green. She's definitely the most over of the bunch as well. There's Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
But she's not getting hers yet. So the only other person they could really depend on whenever she comes back is Bianca.
Yeah. I mean, have we got an ETA on her return?
No, we do not have. I don't have an ETA on her return at the moment.
Yeah.
I know she was at the NXT show, but then that was it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always rated Bianca.
I like Bianca as well. I do like Bianca as well, but I think when she comes back, she needs a heel turn.
Yeah, she does.
She needs a heel turn if they're keeping Jade as face.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, have you got any lasting thoughts on WrestlePalooza?
I'm hoping now for a good show. Like I'm wondering what are surprises we could get it. I can't think of any other surprise we get, but no, like I'm looking forward to it all. Like it should be a good show. I think it will be a good show. I think it'll be a good show altogether.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully get some good surprises.
So it is due specifically to these bloody Wikipedia pages are always like God knows how long. So according to this, the last WrestlePalooza was back in the year 2000
under ECW.
Yes, it was. Yeah, under ECW. Was the fourth. So WrestlePalooza 2000 was the fourth WrestlePalooza professional wrestling event produced by Extreme Championship Wrestling ECW. The event took place on April 16th, 2000, in the Family Arena in St. Charles, Missouri. No, I don't want to donate, thank you. WrestlePalooza was a live event which featured matches taped for the April 21st episode of ECW on TNN and the April 23rd episode of Hardcore TV. It was the final WrestlePalooza held under the ECW banner until the event was revived in 2025 by the WWE.
And they held on to that name for a very long time, since 2001 when they bought the company.
They did, yes. Which, to be fair, like, they've always used, like, a majority of shows that they've used under companies that they've brought out with WCW.
Yeah, and they do a few with ECW, especially on the NXT brand with Heatwave.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That was an ECW thing, wasn't it? Heatwave. Yeah. Yeah. So. But yeah, I'm personally looking forward to this, and yeah. So just trying to have a look. So it is due to take place on the 20th of September, which is tomorrow, Saturday, September 20th. Do you think there'll be any last-minute matches added on tonight?
I don't know. They don't. They've never added a last-minute matches on since then. I think they were going to add the women's triple threat for the women's heavyweight championship, but that's been changed because of the head injury to Tiffany.
Yeah.
No, but they won't add. They don't do the adding of last-minute matches on. Like Triple H still keeps it at 5 or 6.
Yeah, which isn't a bad.
And it's the first pay-per-view for ESPN for ESPN. It's the first test pay-per-view for ESPN.
Yeah, that'll sort of boost up viewership. Yeah. So,
for those that are willing to pay, for those in America willing to pay $30.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas just get Netflix, isn't it?
We're lucky enough. Yeah, we have the Netflix.
Yeah, I mean. My Netflix is, like the basic subscription, and I pay £5.99 a month.
Yeah, I pay I pay £9 a month for it as well. I pay my £9 a month as well.
Yeah. And obviously you get all your up-to-date pay-per-views and Raws and SmackDowns and NXT's even on there, I believe. Like I keep saying that I need to get back into NXT because I sort of fell out of love, shall we say, with NXT. I'd say Mania of 2023, I believe, in and around that sort of time. Because I think they were doing a in your face thing, and it was either 2022 or 2023, but they literally just started doing the whole 2.0 gimmick.
That was 2022. No, late 2021 was 2.0.
Yeah, so I believe it was so in and around Mania season of 2022. I believe so when Mandy Rose was still women's champion.
Yeah.
And because I remember that like doing a podcast for Spotify. And I remember she was on the card defending the titles. Ian, have you got anything to add on to the end of today's podcast?
Just enjoy the shows. Now, also remember there is also All In. So if you're watching both shows, you're going to be very spoiled. And we're not getting the problem where it was going to be both pay-per-views on at the same time. AEW slightly moved their time a few hours, which was a benefit. So now people can get to watch both. Yeah,
exactly. So Ian, I just want to finish off by saying thank you very much for
my
coming back
pleasure.
on.
Really enjoyed it. It's good to be back on. Hadn't been on a wrestling podcast in a while.
Definitely do need to bring you back on at some point soon, as it's always a pleasure having you on. And so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the Nerdic Pro Podcast, Nerdic Pro Weekly is back every single Friday at 7:30 p.m. UK time, live here on the Nerdic Pro Podcast YouTube channel. Do not forget, on October the 3rd, we'll be entering into a new collab partnership thing with a fellow wrestling podcast known as Hitting the Turnbuckle Podcast. And on Wednesday, the 5th of November, 2025, otherwise known as Guy Fawkes Night, one of the biggest podcasts, if not the biggest podcast at the Nerdic Pro Podcast that's ever done in the 4+ year history of the Nerdic Pro Podcast, with none other than former WWE World Tag Team Champion and current National Wrestling Alliance NWA powerhouse, the one and only, no fear, Mr. Mike Mondo.
He built like a house. I've seen the pictures. He's built like a house.
He is built like a house. He's a fucking tank. You know.
I know. Look, that definitely look. He looks like someone from Mr. Universe.
He does, doesn't he?
He looks like Mr. Universe or Bane.
He does. Yeah. He's definitely in a lot better shape now than what he was, 20 years ago in WWE. He'd be a wrestler who was part of the wrong era. Like, he'd suit a wrestler part of the golden age. Yeah, he would. Yeah, definitely. Make sure you stay tuned in for that. So that's Wednesday, the 5th of November, at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. UK time. Sorry, at 11 a.m. USA Eastern. That I will find out other time zones and what have you for those of you who are in other time zones, especially out of the States, as there's a few of them out there. Canada as well for our Canadian brethren on Prince Edward Island and throughout Canada as well, and other parts of the world. And so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is, as usual, been Bobby SalaStar.
And I'm Ian McWilliams.
Mr. Ian McWilliams. Ian, thank you very much for tonight.
Thank you for having me, Bobby. It was good crack.
No worries. Thank you very much for coming back on. And we shall be seeing you all later. Goodbye.